Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening. First tonight, a fire has gutted several industrial businesses near Smithton, causing millions of dollars damage. A person living on the site woken by fire crews as the blaze inched closer, destroying all in its path.
A crumpled, blackened mess, their smoke is seen the aftermath of fire's fury.
It was very serious at the beginning as the fire was extremely intense.
Around 3 a.m, authorities alerted, triggering a major response from fire crews around the district, mostly volunteer brigades. What they were faced with on Mange Road at Forest hasn't been witnessed for years.
I reckon in the last 5 years is definitely one of the most significant fires, yes.
As crews frantically worked to contain the blaze, the life of the property's caretaker became priority.
The person was asleep, wasn't aware the fire was going, and so they woke that person up and evacuated that person. So that was a fantastic outcome there.
Then salvaging some of the goods, but heartbreakingly, the bulk of it, owned by multiple industrial businesses, destroyed. This twisted wreckage a sad sight. Water cascading over the carnage with the area too big to access from the ground.
So we have to use our snorkel as a platform so we can apply water to areas that we can't reach with our normal hoses.
The damage bill's still being tallied, but it's estimated to be around $4 million.
There is boats in there, there is manufacturing equipment, there's mining equipment, there is irrigation equipment from an irrigation business, there is timber as well.
The cause is still under investigation, but one thing is for sure, there's a mammoth, heart-wrenching clean-up ahead. Louise Huber, 7 Tasmania News.
A World War II submachine gun is among more than 40 illegal guns seized by Tasmania Police. Officers working since May have recovered pistols, rifles and even tasers.
The fearful armoury of Tasmania's criminal class. Now it's all evidence.
Since May, police have seized over 40 illegal firearms, silencers and a taser as a result of an ongoing firearms trafficking investigation.
Among the haul, scoped rifles, pistols, even a submachine gun.
Most troubling, like that is a prohibited firearm, albeit that it dates back to World War II. It is a machine gun that has the ability to fire significant rounds in very quick succession.
That weapon, police allege, was recovered from a property in Parrata on September 1. The 63-year-old man will now face the Hobart's Magistrates Court on 23 firearms charges. In a separate case, a 57-year-old licensed firearms dealer from Richmond has also been charged with unlawful trafficking.
As a result of this investigation, there have been a number of charges that have occurred. Some of those charges are in respect of licensed firearms holders.
Police believe many of the recovered weapons had been reported stolen, renewing their message to gun owners to secure their weapons.
The theft of firearms we will follow up diligently. We will follow all investigative angles to make sure we try and recover those firearms.
For those with weapons, the message is also simple: hand them in. Tasmania remains the only state with a permanent firearms amnesty. Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
A motorist has been detected driving 100 kilometres an hour over the speed limit on a busy Hobart highway this morning. Part of a targeted operation on the Bowen Bridge, a 42-year-old Lutana man was caught travelling more than double the 80 limit, while a learner motorbike rider was also clocked at 115 kilometres an hour. At Elizabethtown, another man was found driving at 175 kilometres an hour in a 110 zone. Tasmania Police says it's disappointing so many drivers aren't heeding road safety messages. There has been a major development in plans for a new pig abattoir near Scottsdale. The proposal brought before a special council meeting this afternoon. Our reporter Garth Burley is live with us at Scottsdale. Good evening, Garth. What's the decision?
Kim, the pig abattoir has taken a huge step forward after the council this afternoon unanimously voted in favour of the project. The Springfield development will work hand in hand with Scottsdale Pork processing around 120 pigs a day and is set to create 10 permanent positions. It was given the tick of approval earlier this week from the EPA, subject to conditions on noise and odour levels. However, not everyone is a fan. Today at the meeting there were 2 animal rights activists who made their presence felt. However, we spoke to the Mayor of the Dorset Council, who thinks this will be a big move and a big step forward for the local region.
And it'll be the only major pig abattoir in Tasmania, so plenty of opportunities and probably space for growth if things take off.
The headaches aren't finished for the proponents yet, now scrambling to build the abattoir before the end of November when a plant on the northwest closes. If not by then, Kim, Tasmanian pigs could be heading to the mainland.
The Tasmanian winery has celebrated a major milestone, pulling the cork on decades-old wine. Pembroke Estate marking 40 years of making Pinot Noir, a wine which has helped cement our state on the world stage.
A special cheers as this cellar door opens for an anniversary drop.
This wine was made in 1989 and we got it in 1990. This is 30 years old.
Pembroke Wines celebrating 40 years since its first Pinot seeds were planted, bringing together a crop of expert winemakers, taking a ride through the years, one glass at a time.
We've got 2020 here and we've got 20 wines to show everyone as to what's happened over those years.
The original winemaker back on deck for a cameo, savouring the taste of their vineyard's early days.
Tasted the 1990 is one of the 3 or 4 first Pinots that I made in Tasmania, and I've probably made several hundred since then.
It was a hobby. No one was convinced that wines would grow in Tasmania.
Now you've almost got 2 generations of people that now have studied viticulture and studied winemaking that is particular to this region, and hence we're making very, very good wines.
Tasmania's cool climate, once the source of sour grapes, now plays home to some of the world's best.
I think it's the long ripening season, brings more fruit and flavour into your wines.
Along with developing technologies, the changing climate is giving the industry a boost.
I would think the average date of picking now is 2 weeks earlier, maybe even 3 weeks earlier than it was back then. That means that ripening is more reliable, quality is more reliable.
A cheers to another 40 years. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
Field trials for a new way of tackling wombat mange are expected to begin later this year. Existing methods require weekly treatment, but tests of a new drug at Bonarong Wildlife Sanctuary have been promising.
A single application of this drug lasts for at least a month in a wombat and probably greater than 3 months. And so we know it can cure them of mange, it's safe to give to them, and can make a real difference for our ability to manage this disease.
The population of wombats in Tasmania is going up, it's not going down. There's obviously some localised depletion in certain parts of Tasmania.
The state government is spending $30,000 over 3 years to help battle the disease. In a landmark move, the Tasmanian Turf Club has become one of the first racing bodies in the country to appoint a female CEO. Natalie Waters has stepped into the role after spending 15 years in China building her wine and events management company. Despite the ongoing uncertainty of the coronavirus, she believes Launceston can make a mark on the global stage.
That it's the same when people come here, they enjoy it as much as if they would go to the Hong Kong Jockey Club or in Dubai. You know, it has to have that excitement. We have that potential and I want to bring it here.
Waters replaces outgoing Chief Peter Scott. A dozen new Tasmania police recruits have officially pulled on their uniforms for the first time, commencing duty across Launceston. 6 men and 6 women today, marking the major career milestone after graduating from the police academy last Friday.
It was 8 months of non-stop assignments, learning all the legislation, practical scenarios, so it was quite a lot. Early mornings doing PT, but it's all done now.
Really happy to have the new graduates. It boosts our numbers in Launceston, provides us with additional resources which we can use to get out there, reassure other communities.
The new constables will be guided and mentored by experienced officers as they put their training into practice.
The makeup of the Lacko Seljack Cup semi-finals has been thrown into disarray. Football Tasmania announcing the South Hobart Kingborough Lions quarter-final will be replayed after South made an error on its team sheet.
90 minutes of hard work now amounts to nothing. This 3-2 win should have sent South Hobart into the Lacko Cup semi-finals, but it's now been extinguished from the record books due to a timesheet error.
The team sheet had Casper Hallam starting and Tobias Huwainen on the bench, when in fact Tobias Huwainen started the match.
An assistant referee discovering the mistake during the game. The error compounded by the fact Huwainen scored South's opening goal of the match. Football Tasmania says while the mistake wasn't intentional, the two teams will clash a second time, likely a midweek fixture at Kingborough.
To remove that perception of Kingborough being disadvantaged, the Federation feels the best thing to do is to replay the match.
The winner will face Glenorchy Knights in a blockbuster semi-final. Olympia will face Launceston City in the other clash. In the TSL, Lauderdale are looking for redemption against Launceston this weekend. The Southern Bombers had their colours lowered by Clarence last week, stopping the red-hot Joby Harper a challenge. However, their assistant coach says the Blues are not a one-man band.
Last time we kept Joby quiet for the game up at Windsor Park, but there was other guys that bob up and do the damage, so you can't just focus on one player.
Launceston's defence has been watertight in the last fortnight, but accuracy in front of goal remains a work in progress.
In the first quarter we kicked 2 goals at 8, so we've spent some time this week on our efficiency going inside 50 and then our efficiency in front of the sticks.
John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
Stuart McSwain has charged to another podium finish on the international circuit. Running the 1,500 metres at the Golden Spike meet in the Czech Republic, the 25-year-old challenged the front runners at the final bell but crossed the line in third. McSwain finished with a time of 3 minutes 34 seconds. Peter Hanscom is the latest big-name signing for the Hobart Hurricanes. After playing all of his Big Bash life with the Melbourne Stars, the 29-year-old is moving to Tassie after some convincing from a teammate-to-be. Throughout Big Bash history, Peter Hanscom's always been a star. A Melbourne star, but now he's a star of the South.
I guess the defining factor coming down to Hobart was being able to bat in that top 4 and with such a good group and good people on a good wicket.
Hanscom signed on for 2 seasons with the Canes, averaging 38 runs across a 16-match test career. Hanscom makes no secret of his desire to return to the national side. The fact he's replacing George Bailey, the new national selector, may just turn the heads he needs.
It didn't really play in the decision too much, but it definitely doesn't hurt if you've got a selector on your side. I mean, I've played with George, I've played against George, and we've got quite a good relationship.
He credits fellow Victorian Scott Boland for having a hand in his decision to move.
Someone who sort of made a similar move, going from the Stars down to Hobart and how he'd felt making that change.
The pair could be spending quite a while in Tassie, with the state possibly becoming a hub for teams. Hanscom's signature leaves just one contracting spot left on the list.
We're very excited, with what we're putting together, and over the next couple of weeks we'll be announcing some more players.
Good evening. 18 degrees the high today, recorded by Launceston and Friendly Beaches. Hobart just 13, Burnie 17 and Devonport 16. Bushy Park and Wynyard reached 17, Lowerhead 16, St Helens and King Island 15, Flinders Island, Strawn and Grove 14 with Lyre-Weenie atop of 10. -1 was the low at Lake Leak and a few light showers today over the west and far south, hence the cooler temperatures over those regions. Due to the low-level cloud that streamed over that part of the state, we have some remnant cloud over the central and east of Tasmania. The frontal band now extends over New South Wales and South Australia as another cold front approaches WA. Coastal cloud continued over Queensland. Tomorrow the high centres to our east, extending a ridge through central Australia, and further north the cold front starts tracking over the Bight. The wind starting out light but tending northeasterly and increasing to 15 to 25 knots and even up to 30 knots over the east and west by evening. So we have a strong wind warning that's been issued for waters between Wineglass Bay and South East Cape and in the west from Low Rocky Point to Stanley, and we do have also a frost warning for the upper Derwent Valley. Forecast for tomorrow, Hobart, a sunny day, 17 also for Cygnet after a cool start for New Norfolk, but sunny later and 18 the top.
Launceston 16 degrees and partly cloudy, Devonport 14, morning fog and partly cloudy for Campbelltown 15 the maximum. 13 for Burnie and partly cloudy, sunny for Strawn 17, 15 for Smithton. St Helens a high tomorrow of 15 degrees and partly cloudy, Swansea 16, bit of sunshine and 15 for Fingal. On Friday, mainly fine and partly cloudy, maybe a shower developing over the west and later the east. Showers on Saturday easing from the west and south in the evening, and on Sunday the showers will continue but partly clearing for a time and then redeveloping over the state by evening. Showers easing from Perth tomorrow, sunny and 24 in Adelaide, early fog in Melbourne, cloudy conditions for Canberra and Sydney, a shower or two in Brisbane. Partly cloudy in Hobart, it's 10 at the moment, 11 degrees in Launceston, 8 right now in Devonport. And Kim, that rounds out my 7,920th weather presentation. No wonder I'm tired.
If I do my math, that's about 36 years. Very impressive. And not once have you got a promotion in that time, Murph. I'm not so sure about that. That's your news for now. I'll be back later with updates. Thanks for joining us this evening. Good night.